Flags. This is the name we've given to a large piece of fabric that's often seen flown high above government buildings.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Or painted on the face of a drunken teenage bloke. These bits of fabric have come to represent entire nations, global movements, sexual identities.
What are your pronouns?
I don't really know. I don't do that stuff, so.
Okay. If you would want me to identify you, how would you want me to do so?
Bruh, I don't really care. Like, I'm a dude.
Regions within countries are even represented by flags. In the United States, these regions are called states. Each state in the United States thinks it has a very unique culture of cuisine, politics, language, arts and entertainment, and of course, music. All of these supposedly intrinsic differences between states requires a unique flag to represent said culture. And in a strange turn of events, policymakers here in America seem to have realized the complete lack of diversity between states and have designed the flags accordingly. California thinks it's special, and I would agree, and that's why they have a unique flag. Maryland? Not so much. Who the hell gave them permission to design such a flag? There is one state, however. One state so unique, it towers above them all. One state so special, it ranks S tier in nearly every data map of the United States. However, this state doesn't get the credit it deserves. How can such a special state have such a basic flag? I'm not gonna stand for it. Actually, I am gonna stand for it. Luckily, I'm not alone. Over the past few months, Minnesota has been accepting design submissions for a new state flag as well as a new state seal. This is because the current flag, which is basically just the seal on a blue background, is a bit outdated, problematic, and just overall repugnant. The submission box was quickly flooded with a whole lot of garbage. I don't even know what you're looking at on screen right now, but I promise you, if I did, I'd likely be throwing up. They should have just called it quits after several submissions were made of people's dogs and their backyard. A crackpot team of randos, for whatever reason appointed by the state, narrowed down these submissions to 6. Now, I don't mention this often, but when I'm not making tanky circle jerk videos for YouTube, I'm in college studying graphic design. What I mean is, I have an incredibly big head when it comes to graphic design, and every opinion I have on the matter is 100% correct. Now, they ultimately narrowed down the flags to one final design, and that flag was tweaked just a little bit to bring us to the final flag that is now the official state flag of Minnesota. I'm quite late to making this video, so this flag is already being flown outside of several buildings and homes. But before I talk about the new official flag of Minnesota, I want to focus on these 6 finalists, because I feel as though the State Emblems Redesign Commission may have made a mistake, and potentially, rather than narrowing down the 6 finalists, they should have taken bits and pieces from each design and created a final design to be the new flag. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to take a look at these 6 finalists, and I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my most favorite, and I'm also going to try to redesign them to my liking along the way. The first flag is F944. I'm just going to use the code to refer to them. This is the one that has like the weird river thing with the star. I absolutely hate this one. This is my least favorite. For whatever reason, a lot of people loved it, which makes me question everything. The next flag is F1435. I think this flag is supposed to be representative of like a quilt or like indigenous blanket tradition or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. I think they could have done it in a better way. Because this is just, frankly, horrendous. This next flag is F1154. They're on the right track. They have pretty good shapes, like 2 different star designs, or I guess one's a snowflake. Technically it's a rose, but I'm not going to get into that. And they also have the colors correct. Green, blue, and white make for a great Minnesota state flag. Then we have F2100. Now this is just a blatant ripoff of the much superior North Star flag. And frankly, this is a poorly executed ripoff of the North Star flag. But they're on the right track. I'll give it to them. The next flag is F29. I love the shapes to this. I love the muted, dull colors. And the symbols are really appealing to the eyes. The symbols are a bit busy where they overlap, But the original designer of the flag already tweaked it and made it much better in my opinion. And my favorite design of the 6 finalists is F1953. With the 3 stripes and the star, it definitely looks like a flag you'd see. It's not too unique, but the shape on the left that the star is within, it's supposed to be a reference to the state of Minnesota, and that shape really adds to the unique quality of this flag. I really like it. From these 6 flags, they narrowed it down to 3. I don't understand the appeal at all to this flag. Apparently it was a top contender in much of the public polling, and that just makes me irate. I know I said I have a big head when it comes to graphic design, but I swear I'm right on this. You put a silly little squiggly shape in front of the face of neoliberal Americans and they just drool. Like, what the f am I looking at? Honestly, why would a man be there? Fortunately, from these 3 options, they picked my favorite. At first, I wasn't really a fan of this flag or really any of the other options, but it really grew on me to the point that when this flag was chosen, I was actually really happy. I was really happy when they made this decision. Blue, green, and white are great colors to represent the state of Minnesota. I wish they added gold, maybe. That would have been a nice touch. But nonetheless, I still love it. I'm really happy about this decision. The commission's work is far from over once they settle on a finalist. The design will still be open to modifications, as was seen with the adoption of the state seal earlier this month. So, yeah, they changed the flag again. I was finally happy with the design, and then they changed it. They removed the green, my favorite color. They removed the stripes, and the 2 colors present on the flag are both blue. Good thing we redesigned our old blue flag in order to stand out from the other blue flags. I can definitely tell them apart. This flag has been the official state flag for some time now, at least a month or so. And I think it's about time we question the State Emblems Redesign Commission. Who are the people on this commission? And what do they have to say for flags? Michael Harrelson, a former chair of the Minneapolis Commission on Civil Rights, a man who helped author a joint resolution opposing the use of offensive Native American mascots within the city. A good man for sure. But does he know flags? Shelley Buck, serving 12 years on the Prairie Island Tribal Council and 6 years as the council's president. A leader in the community for sure. But what does she know about flags? Anita Gall, former candidate for Minnesota State Senate, a current chair of Lyon County DFL. She may know about Democratic politics, but does she know flags? Luis Fitch, a Minneapolis-based artist and designer. Does he know flags? Probably. At least more than the others. And luckily this guy was the chairman of the commission, so at least we have an artist who's leading this thing. My point is, all these people have incredibly valid and important things to say about the redesign of the Minnesota state flag. However, I don't think they should have been given as much power as they were when it comes to decision making literal changes to the flag based on their word. Everyone has something important to say about what should or should not be on the final flag design, but it should be up to the artist to do the designing. Even some artists on the commission are questionable. I was told that an architect was on the commission. Now, I don't care enough to even look up if this was true or not, but if it is, that's a lot different than graphic design. Architects are like designing buildings that have to weigh 1,000 tons. Something a lot less important, but a lot more entertaining, is the response from conservatives, not only in the state, but around the country.
Minnesota has announced a new flag. That's right, the last one was considered racist, and so they're getting rid of it. The interesting thing, however, is that the new flag Minnesota is presenting and has chosen looks an awful lot like the flag of Jubaland in Somalia. The reason people are taking issue with this is, well, it may be coincidental. I don't necessarily think so. What I can say is I don't see reason to actually change the flag of Minnesota in the first place. And so when they decide to, and they make it look like a flag of Somalia, and it's the state with the largest Somali population, a lot of people are going to feel like you are being subverted, that your cultural values are being taken away from you by minority populations and non-American populations, and for no reason. I gotta be honest. The arguments to change the Minnesota flag, I believe, are fake, and I can explain it to you.
The new Minnesota flag is exactly the same as Ilhan Omar's home of Puntland, Somalia, aka the home of ISIS. We even got some dank memes like this one. Minnesota, our current flag is genocidal and a mess. Also Minnesota, let's use a flag design that looks like one from Somalia, a country where half their population experienced nothing but perpetual genocide. I think most of us can agree that Minnesota did need a new flag. And I think most of us can agree that the new flag is not at all based on the Somali flag. And even if it was, it wouldn't even be that weird. I mean, people have been talking about redesigning the Minneapolis city flag. And when they talk about the redesign, they do actually talk about Somalia. This new state flag's just a little bit too woke for me. Like, we hate white men? That's just messed up. In the end, I still think the state emblems redesign committee made a mistake. They should have taken bits and pieces from the 6 finalists to create a brand new design. Because that's exactly what happened, but in reverse. If you look at the final 6 designs, you'll notice that each and every one of them took major inspiration from the already massively popular and respected North Star flag. This was designed in the 80s. And ever since then, people have been flying it all over the state, including myself. I made a whole video about it. It's pretty bad at this point. I made it nearly a year ago. You can watch it if you want, but you probably shouldn't if you like quality content. Anyway, we could have had this, but we don't. And I'm mad about it. This has been North Star Radio. Peace and love, and free Palestine.